I am really feeling this eyeshadow. Whoa! Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. Sorry my hair's a little flat, she's still drying. If you're wondering, I applied Jane Carter Solutions Curl Defining Cream with her styling smoother from the Healthy Hairline. Wash and go style. And if you're wondering what eyeshadow I'm using the Luxie Beauty eyeshadow singles. They recently launched their fall collection. I used some of the mattes and some of the shimmers. Not bad. Look at that. Look at that. Woo! Today we are comparing two foundation sticks. Both of these are fairly new on the market. I forgot which one came out first, but this is Sephora's Make No Mistake Foundation and Concealer Stick, and this is NARS's Velvet Matte Foundation Stick. I believe NARS has a Velvet Matte Liquid Foundation that I've tried a while back ago. It was fine. I don't think at the time I was so keen on the foundation scene. Like, I didn't know what the best one was for me. But I tend to cater towards sticks simply because I think they're more travel friendly. It's just one less liquid to think about with the TSA. You don't have to worry about lids. Well, yes, you have to worry about lids, but for some reason I feel lids on these particularly are a lot more secure than lids on bottles, not having to worry about the pumping and things spilling in your makeup bag. And I compared these two because I found that this may be like a dupe for this one, and I demoed them both, the Make No Mistake on this side of my face and the Velvet Matte on this side of my face, just so you guys can see the texture of it, how it applies. And I wore both of them for a week straight. I wore them with primer, without primer, and for 12 hours, so I could really experience their wear and how well it lasted on my skin, how it wore throughout the day, and all that stuff. I have to say, it was hard to decipher which one I liked the best, but after trying both of them thoroughly, I think that I love the NARS matte the best out of the two. And just to go over pricing, I'm pulling up my Sephora app here. I think the Sephora Make No Mistake foundation stick retails for $14. Hold on. 20, excuse me, it's $20. The NARS Velvet Matte, I believe, is going to be in the 40s. Velvet Matte spelling, can you do it? I don't know. $45. You're looking at this being half the price of the NARS. And you know, I'm not one to just use luxury brands, to just use expensive makeup. If it ends up working better for me, then sure, that's the one I'm going to stick to. I love the Fit Me by Maybelline foundation series. I haven't used liquid foundation in a very long time, so that's pretty much the only reason why I have been using that one in particular. And I yet haven't found a drugstore stick foundation that I liked. If I do, I will let you know. When I used the Sephora stick for a week, I found that the coverage was there and I love the creaminess of it. And I believe this is designed to be long wear, water resistant as opposed to waterproof, I believe. Let's take a look at the spec, shall we? This provides medium coverage and the skin type will be normal, dry, combination, oily. So across the board for all skin types. The finish is matte. It's a medium to full coverage foundation and concealer stick. So you can also use this to conceal with a natural matte finish. The creamy formula does not settle into fine lines and wrinkles, and the stick format is perfect for easy on-the-go application. That is all true. On me, I felt that it was more of a satin finish. Maybe it's just because of my skin type or perhaps the SPF moisturizer that I use under it, but it did not dry completely matte. But I really didn't let it dry completely matte because I automatically set all my foundations with a powder just because I know it's going to be on my face for a long time, all day, and just for that security, that's my go-to step. Powder over the foundation. And at the time, I was really tan from Miami. And I thought the color was perfect for my skin tone. Spot on, and that was one of the things that made me fall in love with the Sephora stick, because sometimes with all the foundation sticks that I've tried, I've always had to mix one or two and just to get that perfect skin tone for my complexion. And I found that I only had to use this and it was spot on what my natural with a little warm undertone was giving me with the tan. So that's why I continued using that for like a week, or actually a week and a half, before I moved on to the NARS. The only thing I don't like about this foundation is the smell. It's a very plastic type of smell, and the consistency is very creamy actually, and it kind of reminds me of a mixture between the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation and the Makeup Forever HD Stick Foundation in terms of texture. But you see on my skin, it dries down. It does dry down matte. And I think because my skin here is drier than the one on my face, and that's why it's giving off a more of a matte finish on my arm than if I would apply it to my face. It did give me medium coverage, and I will go in for a fuller coverage, and it did stay on well throughout the day. It did move around my nose because my nose area is ruthless. No matter what I do, the primer that I use, if I powder it, this just breaks up on me after a couple of hours. And you know what? I just powder and move on. Like, it's just something I've learned how to deal with. Before I went in with both foundations, I applied my No Pore Problem primer to my face. And you see the texture is very creamy upon application. I love the tone of it, and it's pretty easy to blend out. It melts into the skin, it gives a really nice smooth finish, and if I wanted more coverage, I would just apply more foundation, no problem at all. And because I'm not as tan as I was a couple of weeks ago, it definitely gave my skin a little warmth, which I appreciate, while still looking realistic on my skin. Now let's talk about NARS. This also provides medium coverage and is suited for sensitive, normal, dry combination, and oily. Okay, let's read the fancy description. Are you ready? A one-of-a-kind, versatile matte foundation stick with a built-in touch-up blender for all-over coverage or touch-ups on the go. It does have this, oh, that's the wrong end. It has this spongy end to the stick, which I don't use because I just use my buffer brush, or actually I never really use sponges with stick foundations because I feel they just lift off too much of the makeup, and I want the majority of it to stay on my skin. That's why I use just a densely packed brush, whichever kabuki type of brush that you have. It offers all over coverage or touch-ups on the go, soft matte finish, and creamy buildable texture, layers easily for medium to buildable coverage. Matte rebound powders enhance the glide and comfort of wear. I have to say, I love the glide. We got some nice glide, while mattifying the look of skin. Ginger root extract, vitamins A, C, and E, antioxidant protection, and la 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 la. Now I know NARS is no longer, or will no longer be, cruelty free because they're going to China, but that's not until the end of the year, and this was made in Italy. So if you have very strong opinions about being cruelty free or owning cruelty free makeup, you have until the end of the year until NARS makes that change, if they still are, but which I think they will. Get on it, stock up, because that's gonna be not anymore after January. This is the NARS side, and I have to say, from using both of them thoroughly, I love the NARS and how it applies. You see here, it applies so smoothly, like butter. Blends seamlessly, very easily, and definitely has more slip than the Sephora foundation stick. I love the tone of this shade. Is in Cadiz medium dark 3, and for how my skin tone looks now to how it will look during winter, I think this will be a great shade for me. And the NARS foundation stick held up pretty well throughout the day. I actually think it held up with better coverage than the Sephora stick. I noticed that my spots that I could see through the makeup by the end of the day were still fairly well covered after 12 hours or so. And it's helpful that, yes, I still apply powder over it. But funny story, when I was using this for the first time, I forgot to set it with powder, the NARS stick. And I was applying my bronzer, I was like, oh! And then the bronzer still applied smoothly, not patchy at all, not blotchy and unevenly. So yeah, it really did leave me with a velvet matte finish. I was pretty stunned, and held up well throughout the day without powder. My makeup didn't start to separate, it didn't start to look uneven and strange throughout the day. So I was very happy to discover if by some strange means I forget to go in with powder after applying the NARS, that it's gonna be okay. My face is gonna be fine. So I'm very happy with both of my purchases. As far as my nose, of course, the NARS, even the NARS, did not survive my T-zone. And I think I just have to bake in that area. I go in with a lot of powder to the sides of my nose, so it could just withstand the day and the oils that start to come to the surface. And, you know, it's just something, again, that I deal with, and in my own way, I'll make the T-zone success happen. I will definitely continue using both. I could probably mix them together. As far as scents, as I said, this was more plastic. This does not have a plastic scent at all. It has more like a, actually it's kind of neutral. I don't pick up a heavy scent from the NARS like I do from the Sephora foundation stick, but I definitely prefer this lighter fragrance than to the plastic one. This is 0.31 ounces of product, and this is, hold on, this is 0.41. So even though the tube is smaller, you get more foundation in the Sephora stick than you get in the NARS stick. And $45 is a lot for foundation. That's definitely the luxury makeup price range, typically what they charge for foundations. And I think the Sephora stick is a good alternative for the coverage, the matte finish, and the ease of use than using the NARS. But I've been a fan of NARS for a very long time. They are my favorite beauty brand, and I know I'm really unhappy with the change they're undergoing because, yes, the cruelty-free thing is something to think about, but also the quality of their products. The way MAC has been changing, like, I don't want that to happen to NARS. I want their powders to be the same, their eyeshadows to be the same, just all their products to maintain the same level of excellence that they've had throughout the years. So I really hope this change, and I haven't looked into it recently, so comment down below if you have heard of any news concerning this switch from making their products, I guess Europe and the USA, into Asia. But my final answer between choosing from these two, definitely love the NARS more than the Sephora stick. Not that the Sephora stick is bad, it's just based on my experience, what I look for in a foundation and how it wears throughout the day and all that stuff. I just prefer the NARS over the Sephora one. Let me know down below if you used any of these makeup sticks, your experience with them, if you have any questions about them. Hopefully I could answer based on what I gained knowledge-wise from wearing them. Let me know down below if you have either of these sticks, or if you're not and thinking about buying one of them. Hopefully I can answer any questions that you might have. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another product review, chit chat, or demo. Take care everyone, and I'll see you again soon.